What's good with y'all boys, man? Today we're here cooking chicken and asparagus, making a little dinner. You know, this is what I was gonna call Chef Friday, but we got a little delayed, so I'm probably gonna upload this on like a Saturday. But make sure that you leave a like and subscribe, and I'm gonna commentate throughout this since I really couldn't get a good microphone for a video like this because my parents were running out. But leave a comment down below though for what you would want me to cook next. But I'm gonna be commentating throughout this, as I said. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe, and let's go ahead and hop into things. Alright, so the thing that we're getting into first is we cutting our chicken, alright, and we just slicing it down the middle, and then we cutting it into pieces just like chicken nuggets, and then we throwing on some seasoning. As you see, we throwing some chili powder first, got a little time lapse. And honestly, you might think that I'm over seasoning the food, throwing on some garlic powder now, but you cannot over season much stuff. Like, I'm throwing this on so whenever you put it into the skillet, it gives it that nice texture and browning. You don't want it to be just like chicken. So honestly, it might be a little too much. You don't gotta put as much as I do. But now we just mix it up. You always want to make sure you mix it with your chicken. You don't want no non-seasoned chicken pieces when you're eating it. That'd be disgusting, honestly. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and just say screw all that. We switching up the shirt. We throwing on some more seasoning. Like I said, you cannot have enough seasoning on your food, man. Like, just keep putting some more seasoning on. If you think you got enough, throw a little bit more just to be safe. But now we throwing on some sea salt. Sea salt is better than regular salt. Not better for you, but honestly, it don't really matter at this point. Alright, so we just mixing up our chicken again, making sure we got all the seasoning spread evenly, and now we moving on to the asparagus. Alright, I like to cut off about 2 inches from the stem of the asparagus. Makes it easier, and it just like, that part's not the best when you're eating it. So we're gonna go ahead and throw everything away, and make sure that you wash your hands, man. I prefer to leave the purple bands on my asparagus whenever I'm cutting it, because it makes it easier when you're cutting it, and then you can just remove it whenever you finish. But again, make sure you wash your hands, bruh. Like, come on, make sure you wash your hands and clean up, because you're going to get sick if you don't. But now we throwing on some more seasoning on it, just a little bit of sea salt. And then we're going to go ahead and put it on our pan. And for me, I just use regular olive oil. I spray olive oil into the pan. Makes it a lot easier. Spray it for like a couple of seconds, nothing crazy. And then we're going to go ahead and throw that onto the pan. Now you can see we throwing on a little bit more seasoning. Alright, now we might be overdoing it a little bit. Now I'm looking back on this, but the chicken's real good, so you're just gonna have to wait to see how it finishes. Alright, now we're gonna get a bowl, and we're gonna put all our chicken into that. I mean, you could mix it in the bowl, but I prefer to do it the other way. So now we lighten up the stove. You see we got a gas stove because we real chefs in here. So now that we got that going, we're gonna throw some sea salt on top of the asparagus, and then we're gonna go ahead and put our chicken in the skillet. But first, make sure you always put some oil, put something inside of it. You don't want it to be sticking to the pan. And then go ahead and put your chicken in. Make sure that you spread it evenly. Make sure you get all your chicken out. As you can see, I might have left a piece in there, but we threw that in later, and we're gonna get it cooked anyway. We don't waste no food around here. And then you see the spatula that we using might be a little dumb, but go ahead and look at this chicken. Alright, so that should look good. You can hear it sizzling like crazy. You always want your food to be sizzling. That means you know you're cooking. Alright, here we got our spinach now, and I'm just gonna cut this spinach up. I had this in like a slow motion on accident, so that's why that light's flickering like that. I just speed it up. So basically we're just gonna cut it up, and then we're gonna put it all back in. And then now you can see the chicken. You want to let your chicken sit for about 2 to 3 minutes on high before you flip it. Make sure that it gets cooked through a little bit before you flip it. Give it a little burn. And then what we're going to do after that is make sure that you move around your asparagus, man. Don't let your asparagus sit. We're going to put a lid on that in a minute. But now we got our spinach cut up. And now we're going to just stand at the stove. We're going to be sitting here just flipping our chicken, man. You want to make sure that after you get both sides cooked that you move it around some. Don't let it sit for too long because you don't want it to get dry. You can see if it does drop down into the stove, man, I mean, if it's not more than like 10 seconds, if you throw it back on the fire, bacteria is going to burn off. So we throw a little bit more oil on top of the asparagus. Now we finna add some water to it because it was burning just a little bit on the bottom. And if your food's burning, that's just mist right there. But if your food starts to burn, just throw a little bit of water on it. That should help. And then you see me like a little fucking dumbass, a little muscle. But now, the best part right here. We throwing on some more seasoning. You might not have been able to expect that. Probably one of the best things you could do is just add more seasoning to your food. And now you see we had the lid on the asparagus, adding a little bit more sea salt. You want your asparagus to get kind of soft, and that's when you know it's about done. Have a little black brown texture to it. I don't know why I said texture, that sounded kind of dumb. But throwing the lid back on, now we're gonna let that sit on about low for about 5 to 10 minutes. And now you see, just make sure you keep flipping your chicken. You can see it's not done yet, But now you're gonna see we might have added a little too much lemon juice here. Alright, so I didn't know that the cap wasn't on, like the little piece that makes it come out like a little bit at a time. So we might have put a little bit much there, I'm not gonna lie. But then let's go ahead and look at the chicken. So I mean, you can see that shit looks real good. A little too much lemon juice again, so a little liquid at the bottom, but everything looks pretty good so far. And now we're gonna go ahead and start plating the food. But first, I want to put y'all on, man. If you want some good, healthy wraps, you definitely want to get the Michelin wraps right there, the spinach wraps. But you can see, as our chicken is coming to an end, it looks very good. You can see we got some good browning on the asparagus, chicken steaming. And just look at that, man. That's just a masterpiece right there. Now we got the wrap, which we didn't end up making a wrap so far. But then you see that we take our food, man. You just gotta take it out the pan. Just pour it all on there. I mean, if you don't eat the rest off your plate, you throw some tin foil over it. And then we're gonna go ahead and put our chicken onto the plate, and boom. Right here, we have some rice that we were eating before, and that we just microwaved it, threw it on the plate. But make sure that you leave a like and subscribe. We finishing up the food here. Obviously, you can see how good it is. But I will see y'all tomorrow, or see y'all in the next one, man. And peace.